For a fun distraction, want to check my thread of WTF DEC moments posted by different players. Some are real bangers. It's a two-parter. All right, let me see. Hold up. This Duelist Cup, we as a community experienced a lot of stuff that was worth saving and sharing. We even had a dedicated server for it, introducing the collection of what the fuck is happening of such bangers. Okay. Day 1, the goal. Survive all of the Odeon mans. Odeon Malice. You played against Odeon Malice? This, by the way, this is 100% real and true. The goal of day 1 was to survive the Odeon. This was my biggest challenge. This was my biggest challenge for this Duelist Cup, was to not crash out during day 1 with all of the Odeon players. My literal first game could not have been more fitting for this Duelist Cup, because game 1, I lost to man. Because they negated all of my cards. Literally, I wake up in the morning of the Duelist Cup. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's log in. Let's do this. First game, I queue in, lose coin toss. It's man. They floodgate me to death. All right. That was the biggest challenge. And I'm telling you, this did not happen on day 3. Because despite of what some people seem to think, the Odeon deck is not good. It's just toxic when it goes first. But at the high ranks, no one was playing man. The first one was at 40th place. And I'm pretty sure they probably played man only like in the beginning or something. They probably say that somewhere. Like because they posted man and Mitsuraiziel. They probably switched to Mitsuraiziel at some point. Mostly... played a bit of, yeah, mostly Thunder Sword. I think that's Mitsuraiziel. Mostly Raiziel, yeah. At day 3, in the higher ranks, I never played against man anymore. But on the first day, it was infested with Odeon. It was really infested. So my biggest challenge was not crash out at that. Odeon found a new way to improve the end board. Oh, I see. That's why it had Spell Canceller. I played against someone who tribute summoned Spell Canceller against me in Odeon. And I didn't understand why that card was in there, but I guess that makes sense. I mean, makes sense in a world where you are the type of person to actually play Odeon, which doesn't really make much sense to begin with, but you know, in a really fucked up world, this makes sense. Is what I mean. Okay, now I understand. All right. Tenpai was not popular, but when it did, it was an unforgettable experience. Okay. Did I play against Tenpai? I think once. I think one Tenpai, maybe 2. Not many. Not many. Vanquish Soul players will do anything for better consistency. Dude, I would be so happy. I would be so happy if my opponent activates a lure and I think it's Malice, but then it's Vanquish Soul instead. Imagine my happiness. Why does this never happen to me? Ah, dude, no. Dude, this hurts so much. Oh, it hurts so. Nah, why did you post this image, man? Oh god, dude. Oh god, this physically hurts me, man. The amount of times I opened like Uva plus Nib every time. On day 1, I went second. I opened Fuva plus Nib. I felt like my opponent. I already knew. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones that in a millisecond they're gonna activate a friggin' Odeon field spell. I always, man. Duel Links are end board piece. Dude, Steel Swarm Roach against what? Dude, what? What can they negate with Steel Swarm Roach? Nothing. You could negate Red Layer. So against Judeo, it could have worked. Dia Bellstar. Okay, Dia Bellstar, true. Guys, most of the things that you guys are saying don't work because the way Steel Swarm Roach, this is why it's so bad. Steel Swarm Roach only works on summons that don't start a chain. So if your opponent goes Rahu to summon Arthalion, you can't use it on that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work against Jokul because Jokul special summons as part of a chain link. It doesn't work against any of the cards in the format, basically. Also, someone said Ripper, which is crazy because that doesn't have a level. Yeah, this card is completely useless. It also doesn't... Here's the thing. If this card worked the other way around, if the card... Think about this for 1 second, please. If your opponent... If this card worked the way you think it worked, this card would be so busted. It could negate Nib if it did that. You think no one would play this card if it could negate anything that summons a level 5 or higher monster, even if it starts a chain? Yummy players getting really creative. Dude, come on, man. Eh? Dude. I didn't get it at first. I was like, hey, what is this about? Oh god, these are so painful. These are so painful. Oh, dude, all three of them. I mean, Maxi is at least okay. Maxi is not bad. Maxi is fine against Odeon because you can hit the traps on your turn, so you get like 2 draws out of it. It's not the worst. God, dude, I hate how it's cut off at the top right as well. I hate how this is done. Because I didn't see it at first. I was like, I slowly moved up, and then it's like, oh god. Release experiment. Okay. this type of thing. This is the type of thing that I mean. That maybe would have caused me to crash out on Friday. This is the type of thing that could have ended my run right then and there. If I play against blind second Odeon and they beat me. No. Bro got Magnus. Dude, what was your elo when you played against Magnus on day 2? God. Cross out on Engage in Yummy versus Sky Striker. Dude, these are some bangers. Imagine your Engage gets cross outed. Duelist has selected going second. Yeah, dude, sometimes I've definitely drawn hands with Draco Tail where I wanted to go second instead of going first. I still think it's good to go first, but sometimes, dude, it just works out like that, man. But this is one of the funniest thing about the Duelist Cup is that, like, because you play so many games, there's just meant to be some really crazy shit that happens. For one, I summoned Sanctifier from the graveyard for the first time with its own effect. For the first time ever in my life this weekend. There was a random game. It was a really long, I think, Draco Tail mirror match. It took forever. And eventually, in the middle of the game, I summoned a Magnamute, and all of a sudden my graveyard started glowing. And I was like, hey, what is this all about? And the Sanctifier popped up, and then I thought about it for 5 seconds, and I was like, I'm not sure if that's optimal right now, but I'm gonna do it. And I did it. Wait, you guys clipped it? Hold up. I wonder if you can see my confusion when the graveyard starts lighting up. Because I think the last card I summoned here, the last card I summoned was the Magnamute. And this was against Jesse, by the way. He asked me, I was hanging out in his stream yesterday. He asked me if I think it was against, no, was it against Jesse? No, I don't think it was. I don't remember. The reason I summoned this Magnemute in the middle is that's where it belongs. Just from the field layout, you know, like it doesn't feel right to put it here or here, because obviously I have a monster at the far left, I have a monster at the far right. Like, oh, I'm putting the Magnemute in the center. I don't know, man. You can see my confusion. I'm trying to figure out what I can do in the graveyard. Oh, I'm glad I had the face cam on. Awesome. I've never done it before. I'm glad you guys clipped that. Okay. Sudden Edison vibes. Okay. Dragon. The strongest Link 1 in history versus the strongest Link 1 of today. Wait, which one is which? I think these are both. I think Linkuriboh is both. The strongest Link 1 in history versus the strongest Link 1 is today. I think Linkuriboh is the strongest Link 1 in history. I mean, that's not true. That's not true. Linkuriboh is the most versatile Link 1 in history. But that's not, it's not true. No, there's more powerful ones like Link Cross, Requiem. Snatchy is also more powerful. Yeah, no, it's not the most powerful one. It's the most... Linkuriboh is probably the most played Link 1 of all time. Because it just like, it's just so generic and so generically good to just put random, like, yeah. But Linkuriboh is definitely neither. That's what I know. I know Linkuriboh is neither the strongest Link 1 in history and also not the strongest Link 1 of today. I don't know what this is Polar Bear in Arlington, Texas right now in this meme. This Linkuriboh. Bankersol players looking for consistency solutions part 2. Oh dude, this is not, I've been there. I've played Durandal. This, yeah. Dracotail players discovering new ways to fusion summon. Poly. I mean, Edge Imp package is playable in Dracotail. Unbelievable screenshot to happen in the same game between two decks. Effect resolution cookie destroy Ryziel X. Normal summon Huh? Oh wait, is it just, are they using circular? Are they using circular just as a rank 4 package? Because technically you don't have to link with circular. You can just special it, send Sigma. Wait, but Sigma locks you into links, no? Into Cybers. Oh, it doesn't lock you into links, it locks you into Cybers. Okay. Well, damn. Yeah, but then I don't know. I don't like. Okay. And loop yummy combo. Beansmith Engraver, Lollipo Yummy Way, make Omega. Cross out on Lupus is awesome too. Because your Lupus is gone forever. Yeah, this is Duelist Cup meme review all of a sudden. Well, I'm not against it. Dracotail trying the Forbidden Goo. This is not crazy. This has been standard in TCG for a while now. That's all right. Droplet is a good card in Draco. I think especially for this Duelist Cup, like, I think Droplet was not a bad card to play in Draco. If you draw a fusion spell and Droplet against Yami going second, I'm pretty sure you're cooking. You just activate a spell, they don't herald it because they think it does nothing while they have herald, and then you send it for Droplet. And they're like, okay, either I negate Droplet now with herald, but then it's gone and the fusion spell cooks me, or I don't negate with herald and then my herald gets dropleted. And then you cook. It's good in the mirror as well because you can dodge flame. Like, this is a legit card in Draco, even though it's not a monster. Sulfa Yami, but there seems to be something different. Oh, dude, it took me a while. It took me a while to find the imposter. Herald of Mirage Lights? Okay. Somehow every single Herald card... This is something that maybe doesn't get talked about enough, but why does every single Herald card just Omni-negate? Maybe the Heralds are not hated enough for this, I feel like. Someone at some point just came up with an idea of like, hey, let's make this archetype that is all about negating every card. And someone else was like, yeah, good idea, you should do that. Also, we should probably make Odeon as well. And then they lived happily ever after. Part 2. Those are the deep trenches. Okay. Regenesis. Classic. The most aura farming effect activation ever. Oh, come on. Nah. You're not revealing Chandra and Habagiri for raise. What the hell? Nah, this is my worst nightmare. The only way this could be any worse is if they revealed a Malice card instead of Habagiri. What the hell? I lost to a 2004 card with my 2005 card. Wait, where's the image? What is the 2004 card? Torrential Tribute? Torrential is 2004? I know it's not MST, because MST is from 2002 or 3. Surely Torrential is not 2004. No, it's 2003. You can't beat me on Unk knowledge. Torrential is 2003. I was there. Start of 2003 as well. Not even close to 2004. Survival is not a mandatory option anymore. There's always a win condition, just need to see the vision. What? Did you... Who is that? 1 coin flip win? 16 coin flip losses? What the hell? What is... I don't get the image. Lucius Urgula. No, draw Lucius. Activate, add 5 mana. Discard 5 mana, chain, vanish. And then coin flip. I don't... Eh? What's the meme? He didn't negate. I made Secretarion and won. Okay, well that and we just decided to leave out the context then. Okay, cool. Good. Oh, this is crazy. I'm so happy about this because people are finally seeing the vision. You guys, look, I understand that people defend Ash Blossom because they hate the Charmies. I get that. I don't agree with it, but I get it, all right? But I'm happy that ever since we started that discussion, there's been more and more people who've been telling me, hey, I've paid attention to this and I've noticed that this is literally the truth. This is Ash Blossom, all right? You draw Ash Blossom going second, most of the time doesn't do shit. You draw Ash Blossom going first, you are the most powerful individual on the planet. That is what this card does in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't make the rules. This has nothing to do with whether you like the Charmies or not, but that is just what it does, all right? That is what it does. So funny, man. The crash out is the best because this is what happens in my head every time. You don't hear it because I force myself to not do it every time, but every time this happens in my head, okay? And it's very hard. It's very hard to not crash out. So that's why I'm so proud of pulling through all the way throughout the weekend without crashing out. Rare instance of Murakumo going -1 instead of +1. This always happens when you play against Orcust. Murakumo is literally an extender for Orcust, I found. Read the last line. Even Odeon had Ash. Dude, the fact that it's half cut off, I didn't even notice it, makes it even worse. Even Odeon. I feel you, man. Might be the worst spell to negate in history with Flame. Depends on the game state, I suppose. Unexpected bridge emerged. Radiant Typhoon Crocea and Vaurarune make high speedroid rubber band shooter. I guess, yeah. I guess that deck doesn't care about the wind lock. No comment. Yeah. Yeah, they call Ash instead of Droll. Why is that? I don't know. After this 45-minute game, he won the coin bricked and lost in less than a minute. Dude, this happened to me. This happened to me like 2 or 3 times this weekend as well, where I fought so hard for a win. Like 30 or 40 minutes, I fought so hard for a win. And then the next game I load in and it's just the most non-game imaginable. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing here, man? I just fought 45 minutes for these 1,000 points. And then the next game is like, opponent normal summons Kapsi Yami. On res, I activate Fuwa, they go Called by the Grave. And it's just, dude, what am I doing, man? There was games where I went second. Dude, I've drawn all 3 Draco Tail traps like twice this weekend. One was the one I won because I go, okay, this was a roller coaster. I go second, I open 3 Draco Tail traps, no hand traps. And I'm already pissed off, right? I'm already like, oh, goddamn. And my opponent passes, they just full bricked. That was crazy. And then I won. Because they like, it was like, the hand was like Mululu, Rahu, 3 traps. I drop a turn, I activate Rahu, they like ash it, and I don't have a play afterwards either or something. And I'm like, okay, cool, but I just have all 3 traps anyways. Bro is the Pharaoh. King Sark and Shining Sark. Yeah, man, I mean, that's just slop. Unfortunately. Wait, what's the joke here? Most unexpected Vosu tribute. There were 2 Ligers on the field. That is funny. They tributed Vosu. They tributed SP and they had 2 Ligers. That's funny. Okay. A brutal story about friendship, betrayal, and poor decisions make in 3 pictures. Lollipo and Cookie make Moon of the Closed Heaven. Chainlink 1 Marshmallow, Chainlink 2 Crocea after surprise. Activate sequence, get Chinut. Oh, huh? Why did they decide to go Lacrima Engraver and then activate surprise? Instead of just making Caesar. I guess what they were thinking was, oh, if they didn't Nibiru me when I had Lacrima and Engraver, they must not have it. They must not have Nibiru. And they were right. They didn't have Nibiru, but they had Crocea plus Sheena, which is a crazy punish. That's funny. Bro, how? How? Number of duels won. 208. Oh my god. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how many games you have to lose to go to 0 points with 208 wins? Fake? Is it fake? It could be. It very well could be, because that is genuinely insane. Rage crash out. Okay, you know what could happen? You know what this could be, which wouldn't necessarily make it fake, but it would make it less funny, is if someone, like, let's say they really tried, but then like on day 3 they like crashed out and lost a bunch of points, and then they said, fuck it, I'm gonna surrender until I have 0 points just for a funny picture, right? Like that's something I could see. Like someone tried for 3 days, they were in the runnings, they were like in the 50Ks or whatever, then they lost like 10 in a row, and they said like, fuck it, I'll just like go, and I'll just surrender until I hit 0 for a funny screenshot. That's a possibility. But I don't know. Whatever. New Almirage target just dropped. Rescue Cat. I mean, yeah, Rescue Cat is technically not a bad 1-card starter for Yummy, right? It's just, it makes the deck bad into Ash, which it's normally not bad into Ash. So I guess they chose to play around Ash because they already had Yummies in hand. They just linked it off and not activated. Yeah. I respect it. I respect the hustle. The aftermath. Dismantle. Why is double helix here? What? Dude, I didn't. That's like, okay, you hate Vanquished Canine, I get it, but then I saw double helix. I was like, what the hell? Where's that? Fuck Vanquished Soul, fuck Canine, and fuck Spiral Double Helix specifically. That's funny. I mean, it's interesting on a serious note, because I did feel like throughout the entire weekend, Vanquished Soul Canine was not doing too hot for people. Like I didn't play against it that often after a while, and most of the time I saw people play it, they didn't do very well. Like this is obviously like not necessarily because of the deck, but I saw Yugioh also have a really unfortunate run. I think he lost a lot of coin tosses though, so maybe he just got unlucky. But I just like didn't really see many people do well with Vanquished Soul. And I was pretty happy about my choice to not play Vanquished Soul, but then ultimately Task still won with it, which was interesting. But there's like, you know, the most popular deck in the top 10 is still Mitsuraiziel, which was the deck that everyone predicted to be the winner deck of the Duelist Cup, technically, right? Beforehand, I think. Mitsuraiziel was like one of the most... Mitsuraiziel and Solfa Yami were the two most anticipated decks for this Duelist Cup, I would say. And there was 3 Mitsuraiziels in top 10, 2 Solfa Yamis, 2 Draco Tail, 1 Mitsuyami, 1... and just 1 Vanquished Soul. But that Vanquished Soul went all the way. Oh yeah, interesting. Didn't you give Task the points to win? Well, I mean, I didn't give him the points. I lost to him in a normal game. I lost to him in the last hour, yeah. But it was a pretty rough game. I went first and I got Fuwad. I didn't have Ash for it. And then I just made Arthalion with, I think, 2 or 3 traps. But then his hand was, he went Stake Your Soul, reveal an Earth. I think reveal Caesar. I used Flame on it and he had Ash. So the Holly Sue got summoned, and then he had Fire and Dark plus Valius in hand for the thing, or the Sue. It was pretty rough. He posted that game in the video. I mean, yeah, it must have been. I mean, dude, from my perspective, it wasn't that exciting because I wasn't in the running for first place in the last hour. But for him, it must have been a very special game because I don't know if maybe it was even the last game he played before he decided to stop. I have no idea. It was at 4:30 in the morning, which was it was like 30 minutes before the end. It was the last game. Dude, it's literally the difference between him being first and second in the ranking. If he has 2,000, if he loses instead of winning, he has to, I mean, he has to keep playing, I guess. Apologize to Urena. I talked to Urena in the morning after the cup was finished. Like during the night, I messaged him. I was like, how did you finish and stuff like that. And I did tell him I lost to Task in the last hour. I couldn't stop him, man. But that's how it works. You have to play against everyone. I played against Urena a bunch of times. I played against Jesse a bunch of times. I'm sure I played against all the others a bunch of times as well.